Hey guys, it's Kat and I am back today to do an update on my perfume collection. I did one of these videos years and years and years ago, and I just feel like recently I bought 2 new fragrances. I mentioned it in a recent video and I thought it's a good time to sort of tell you which fragrances I love, which ones I don't love as much, talk about what sort of notes that I really enjoy. So if you like sort of similar fragrances to me, you might like these or whatever. I'm really horrible at describing scents, which why am I doing this? Good question. So I will put notes on the screen, but I'll also try to describe how I interpret these fragrances, or at least how they settle on me and wear on me, to give you a good idea of if you would like them or not. For me, I'm all about the sort of light, fresh, airy scents. I like citrusy scents. I like aquatic, sort of watery scents. It's all got to be about fresh. And it's not that I dislike other notes. It's just that I can't really wear them because it gives me headaches. So I'm the kind of person that if I can smell the fragrance on me all day, or if it sort of clashes a little bit with my body chemistry and I can just notice it, it actually gives me a migraine by the end of the day. So things like really woody notes, really spicy notes, really, really floral, like white florals, really strong white florals, I can't actually wear them. So it's not that I don't like them on other people. I get them. It's just on me, they make me a little bit headachy. Okay, so some of my favorite, most worn fragrances. I'm going to start with one that's discontinued. Sorry, but I love it. This is the CK2 by Calvin Klein. You can see this bottle has very little to go. I think this is my 3rd or 4th bottle, and as soon as I found out it was discontinued, I actually bought 4 backups. So I'm going to have this going for probably the next 10 years, which I'm not mad about at all because it is my favorite scent, and it's become sort of like a signature scent. I remember when I used to work in an office, I used to come in and people were like, you smell nice, and like you could tell, like it's a fresh scent, but it's a quite a noticeable scent, so you can smell it on people. It smells nice. It's unisex, so it's not too feminine, but it's also not too masculine. It's just like really, really airy. The notes are kind of strange. I'll have them on the screen, but there's things like wasabi, pebbles, some weird like notes in there. It is described as a woody aromatic fragrance, which I don't really smell woody on me. Maybe it just doesn't come across as woody. But it is also supposed to be a fragrance that has a lot of ocean and like ozone scents, which is why I like this. I like it. To me, it smells like water. It smells like rain. And I love that. I think it's such a good fragrance. So this CK2, you can find it somewhere and you love watery sort of scents, I love it. I don't know if this lasts all day, but it lasts long enough, in my opinion. I like fragrances that sort of, you can sort of smell, but they're not so overpowering that it's like, yeah, I'm wearing a lot of stale perfume. Again, that makes me have a headache. So this is the kind of fragrance that you can see people and they'll be like, you smell nice, but it's not really like, you smell like perfume. And I like that about that. It does sort of, you get used to it throughout the day. So maybe it does wear off by the end of the day. But I think for a really fresh fragrance, this does last on me anyway quite well. The next one that I really, really love, and this is my 2nd bottle, and it's, the paint is all coming off because it's been in my handbag. Like it's my sort of handbag fragrance. This is my 2nd bottle and I was cherishing it because I can no longer find it. I love this. This is from Tokyo Milk Dark, and it's Everything and Nothing. I am obsessed with this. I think it's such a nice fragrance. I think this is where my like obsession for citrus fragrances came along, because this to me smells like orange sherbet. Like it's really zingy, but it's also a bit sweet. And there's something about it that's, I love it. I love wearing this. I think again, it's quite unique, but it doesn't make you smell like you've got a lot of perfume on. So this one has notes of sweet orange, petals, desert moss, and tea leaves. And I think, yeah, you can definitely straight away smell like a zingy sort of sweet orange, and then it sort of mellows out to more of that tea leaf, mossy sort of earthy tone. I love this. Again, I would be wearing the crap out of this every day if I could repurchase it. Yeah, this is such a unique but really beautiful fragrance, and yeah, I I love it. The next one that I've repurchased a couple times is actually the DKNY Be Delicious Fresh Blossom. So this goes against what I was saying about not liking really floral scents. This is the one exception to that. This, I gotta spray it. This to me smells, it's definitely blossomy. So I don't like the really strong sort of jasmine, lilac, those kind of fragrances. I feel like they're really sort of nauseating for me. But this almost smells like pear blossom, which I like. So it's sweet. It has a bit of freshness, but it's definitely a floral. It's the one floral that I feel like I can get away with my body chemistry. And whenever I wear this, people are like, you smell amazing. What are you wearing? And I've had a few people that I know buy this just because I was wearing it and it smells so nice. So it's a really beautiful floral. If you are curious about florals, but you don't like the really headachy florals, this one I would highly recommend. And it's been around for ages, so you can get it really cheap. I think this like 100 mils, I bought it for like 30 bucks or something in Australia. You can often find it on sale, and it's, again, I think my third bottle of this. So I'll have the notes of that one on the screen, and it's interesting because it does have notes that normally I wouldn't like. So Lily of the Valley, Jasmine, Rose. To me, they're all really sort of a bit, I don't know, suffocating. But I think because it's got grapefruit, it's got apricot, it's got red apple, that sort of freshens it up and makes it a little bit fruitier and a little bit less sort of, yeah, too much for me. So I love that one, and yeah, I think it's great. On to one of my more recent obsessions. This is by Floral Street, and it's the fragrance Sunflower Pop. Now, Floral Street, you think very, very floral, and most of their fragrances are very floral. This is like the one exception. So if you've been turned off trying them because you don't like floral fragrances, I would say probably try Sunflower Pop, because this is a fruity fragrance. It's very sweet, very citrusy, very fruity. One category that I can go into is sweet. Doesn't tend to give me a headache. But I feel like I've grown out of the really sweet sort of Britney Spears perfumes and stuff. But this has sweet elements to it. To me, it smells like juice. So the notes will be on the screen. There's passion fruit, mandarin, orange, bergamot as the top notes. They all sound amazing to me. I love all of those. Passion fruit, oranges, like, oh, I love it. Then there's some sort of sweeter, more floral notes in the middle and base notes, but it's the sort of fruitiness that I really love about this. And to me, this just smells like you're spraying yourself with tropical juice or passion fruit juice or something, and I love it. Again, this is a fresh fragrance, so it does sort of, it's quite strong at the start because of those sweet, fruity notes. It does, you know, disperse a little bit throughout the day, but I think it's strong enough for me to, you know, not have to reapply it. And I think it's a really nice, fun, fruity sort of summery scent. I love it. I think it's super fun. So those are probably my favorite four, like my most reached for fragrances. And now I've got 8 other ones to talk about. I'm going to talk about these 2 together. These are from Dolce & Gabbana. I've got the Light Blue Intense, which light blue has been around for ages. And I've also got the Light Blue Italian Zest, which has been used less, but I like this one more. It's just that it was limited edition that I pull back on using it because I know I can't replace it. Whereas this one is, you can find it everywhere. I think I bought this really heavily reduced on sale because, again, it's everywhere. I'll talk about this one first, and then I'll talk about the Italian Zest. So this one came out in 2017, and again, it's a more intense version of the original that's been out for a lot longer. I haven't used the original, but from what I've seen or what I've heard people say, this is just a more intense version. It lasts longer because it is a very fresh scent. It can like dissipate throughout the day, whereas this intense one lasts a bit longer. Now the top notes of this one, sounds amazing, lemon and Granny Smith apple. So it is a nice fresh citrusy scent. There are some sort of musky notes to it because the base note is musk and amberwood, and then there's also the middle notes of jasmine and marigold. But I just feel like this one is just at every day. Like if I'm just putting fragrance on and I just, look, I put fragrance on like I'm putting on clean underpants. I just feel like deodorant, fragrance, off you go. So I do wear fragrance every day. It's not just a going out thing for me. And this is a good example of an everyday one because it is a fragrance that's not super expensive. It's easy to get. It's very light. It is citrusy and very fresh. and it's not too imposing. So if you want to sort of get into the light citrusy scents and you want something that's easily accessible and it's everywhere, this one's a good one, but it's not anything stand out amazing. It's just your sort of bog standard, nice, fresh, citrusy scent, which, you know, there's nothing wrong with that. But yeah, this is my sort of go-to. Even if I'm just cleaning the house and doing whatever, chances are I'm wearing something like this. So I'll have the notes comparing the light blue Intense to the light blue Italian Zest on the screen. The Italian Zest has extra notes added into it. In the top notes, they've added bergamot and lemon verbena. And there's other notes like bamboo and amber and vanilla, and there's like other stuff added in. For me and my basic nose, this just smells more citrusy and more citrusy, essentially. So whereas the light blue, to me, it's got a more sort of rounded scent, so it's not just citrusy, it's also fresh and there's a little bit of stuff going on. This is almost like straight up squirting lemon juice on yourself, which I'm all for. This one doesn't last super long because it is so zesty and so vibrant and fresh, but I love it. So this is the kind of thing that if you want to wear it all day, you might need to reapply it, but this is the kind of thing that I would put on before I'm going out somewhere. And it's just, yeah, it's like someone's just squirted lemon juice on my wrist, which I'm not mad about. That is amazing in a fragrance. I would love for them to make an intense version of this so it lasts a lot longer, but it's beautiful and I sort of am hoarding it because it was limited edition. They do bring out different versions of light blue every year, so limited edition versions. I think this was from 2019 or 2018. So yeah, they do bring them out every year. You can get a slight variation on the sort of basic fragrance, which is cool if you're a fan of it. But this one, yeah, I love. I think this was great. One fragrance that I can't really talk too much about because this is a fairly new one and I haven't used it too much. This is the Maison Francis Kurkdjian Aqua Celestia Cologne Forte. Similar to Italian Zest, this doesn't last throughout the day. So this is the type of fragrance I would reach for just before I'm about to go out somewhere. Like if I was going out to a dinner or going out to something, I would apply this. And because it is quite subtle and it's quite like nuanced, you're not going to go and say hello to someone and like punch them in the face with fragrance. This is nice, light, fresh. This to me, look, there's something about it that sort of smells like when it's sitting on me, it sort of smells like a iced green tea something. It smells tea-like, but it's also got a little bit of like black curranty notes to it. It's yeah, sort of fruity, fresh. It's quite interesting. The top notes of this are black currant and bergamot. So in my opinion, tick. It's sort of fresh, but it's fruity. I think black currant gives something a little bit more depth, whereas the bergamot makes it a little bit more light and fresh. There's also jasmine, mimosa, and musk as the middle and base notes. So I like this. The only downside is that it doesn't last too long, but I think it is a nice sort of, I don't want to say classy, that's the wrong term. Maybe it's more sophisticated. It doesn't smell like here's just lemon in your face or here's passion fruit or whatever. This is like a lot more sort of subtle and nuanced. So yeah, if I was going out to a nice dinner, this is the sort of thing that I would reach for. Like a broken record here. The next fragrance here is from Lumira and it's the Paradisium fragrance. The top notes of this, grapefruit, bergamot, lemon. Wonder why I like it. This is a little bit different though. This does have a lot more woody notes to it and it's also got fig and guava as the middle notes. So this is quite fig-like and when I smell it, I just smell sort of fig. But I think the reason why I like this as a fig fragrance is that the top notes, the citrusy top notes, brighten it and make it a little bit more fresh. I like fig on other people. Fig on me sort of is a bit heavy. So this is a really beautiful fig fragrance. It's fig but bright and I really love this. I don't reach for it every day, but it is one that if I use it up, I'd probably repurchase it, even though it's not, you know, on paper, it doesn't look like a fragrance I'd like to use, but in the winter months, this is a really beautiful one. So yeah, Lumira Paradisium. If you like fig, but you want something a little bit brighter and more citrusy, this one's great. All right, let's talk about my final 4 fragrances. The first one, I've got the Escentric Molecule Escentric 04. Now, look, on paper I should like this, I think. This is the most citrusy fragrance in this range, and I remember the days on YouTube where people were like raving about Escentric Molecule 01. Essentially that fragrance is like it's got one molecule and it's like one note. It's supposed to adapt to people's skin chemistry and smell different on different people, and that was like interesting for one, but also people raved about it because supposedly it like adapted their skin and made them smell really amazing, and they maybe didn't smell it on themselves, but people compliment them all the time. And I was like, I want some of that. I tried the first one, the one that people raved about, and it smelled very, very spicy on me. I didn't really love it. And so I really wanted to try the number 4. So when number 4 came out and it had citrusy notes, I thought I'll give this one a try. This one has grapefruit in it, which is the main sort of citrusy note. The main accords of this one, there's aromatic, citrus, and woody. So it is not just like a really fresh fragrance. There are woody notes to it. I don't mind this, and I do wear it. And when I first put it on, I'm like, oh yeah, it's very, very citrusy, but then it settles down to more of a spicy, woody fragrance. And it just feels a little bit heavy on me. So this might be one that I'm going to pan in the future. Again, it's not bad. It's just one of those fragrances that I can smell it on myself throughout the day. And I find it a little bit distracting. One fragrance that I was actually sent in PR, and this just turned up and I was like, okay, I'll give it a try. This would not be on my radar, but it's actually something that I do quite like. It's barely used because I've only had it for a couple of months. But this is the Tiffany & Co. Rose Gold Tiffany fragrance. Now it says here notes of blackcurrant, blue rose, and ambrette seed. According to this website, there's a few more elements in there. So there's iris, there's musk. This is interesting. It's, again, on paper, besides the blackcurrant, which is something I really love. I love blackcurrant incense. I love citrus. I love passion fruit. I love those sort of notes. So if it wasn't for that, this would probably be too floral for me. I feel like the blackcurrant adds a little bit of juiciness to it, which I like, and a little bit more depth to it. But this is sort of in the same category as the CK2 Fresh Blossom, where it's mainly a floral fragrance, but there is a freshness to it. And this almost smells like a cocktail. Like it smells like something that's like a rose and blackcurrant cocktail. There's something sort of fresh about it, and like I don't know, it's not just like a heavy musky fragrance. There is some sort of brightness to it, and I think it's a blackcurrant that does that. So yeah, on paper this is probably not something that I thought I would like too much, but it definitely is something that I would reach for a lot in spring. I think these sort of fresh light floral scents are really beautiful in spring, and this one with the blackcurrant is really nice. The second last fragrance I have, it's one that I don't use too much, but mainly because it's so cute that I don't want it gone, if that makes sense. This is from Moschino, and it's the Fresh Couture fragrance. It looks like window spray or glass spray. I love it. I think that's so cute. I got that as a present from Hayley for Christmas one year, and I love it. The fragrance isn't my favorite. It does have some notes that would tick a lot of boxes for me. So the top notes, bergamot, mandarin, orange, and ylang ylang. And then it's got some raspberry in there. It's got some patchouli. It's got some woody notes, peony. It's got some of those kind of notes in there. I really feel like the peony and the sort of woody notes come out more than the fresh notes. So even though this is called fresh and it's got bergamot, mandarin, orange, sort of top notes, and it's supposed to be mainly citrusy, on me anyway, I smell more of the floral, and it's a little bit, I don't know, there's something about it. It's not the right floral for me. So yeah, it's definitely something I can use, and I can definitely use it up if I wanted to. It's not my favorite fragrance, and I mainly am keeping it because I think it's a really cute bottle. And I feel like it's a cute bottle because of the liquid as well, so I don't want to completely use it up. I think it's the peony and the ylang ylang that come through the most on me, and it's just a little bit strong. Last fragrance is also one that was sent fairly recently in PR. This is Perfect by Marc Jacobs, and it's Perfect Intense. This is very cute. I find all Marc Jacobs fragrances are super cute, the bottles. So Marc Jacobs is a brand that I'm super familiar with because about 10 years ago when I was like getting into fragrances that weren't just celebrity fragrances when I was like a teenager, I really got into Marc Jacobs fragrances. So I've used probably about 6 or 7 or even 8 Marc Jacobs fragrances over the last 10 years. So I'm very familiar with the sort of notes of them, and I generally like all of them. There's some newer ones out that are a lot fresher and I'm tempted to buy, but because I've got 12 fragrances, I'm like, too much. This one is a little bit too strong for me. So the main accords of this are almond, fruity, nutty, sweet, yellow floral, white floral, woody, green floral. Like they're all things that I don't necessarily like. The top notes are all florals, then the middle notes are almond, and the base notes are sandalwood. So to me, this is just a little bit heavy for me. I do like it though, to be fair. I just wonder if this is something I can layer with a fresher fragrance. So I have had this for a couple of months. I was sent it, and I am sort of trying to figure out if it's something that I can use on a daily basis. But I feel like this might be one that if I buy another fragrance in the future, which actually might be one of the newer Marc Jacobs ones because I do like them, I might pass this on to like my sister or my mum, someone that will enjoy it a lot more than me. Because even though I like the fragrance, again, I've got nothing against the actual notes and the smell of it. On me, I just don't think it sits as well as lighter fragrances. All right, so that's my current perfume collection. 12 fragrances. Look, it's a lot. I could cull a few, but I really do like the vast majority of them, or there's a couple that I might look at panning in the future. Ideally, I'd like it to be maybe 6 or 7 fragrances that I want to wear every single day. But I'm really happy with the ones I have. Like there's something that I want to reach for every day. But there's just a couple that are sort of hanging around the background that I don't love as much. And they're the ones I've got to decide, do I pass on? Do I try to pan them? So I will list all the fragrances in the description box if you missed the name of them. And I'd love to know in the comments what your favorite fragrance is of all time and what notes do you like the most. Obviously for me, citrus and fresh is definitely my go-to. And if you have any recommendations, leave them in the comments. I'd love to hear them. I don't need more fragrances, but you know, shit happens. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.